Hello everybody, it's a Sunday morning and there's a cold wind outside, so it's another time to be in the greenhouse and sowing some seeds. Just a quick glance around the greenhouse. There's not that much going on, to be fair. I'm taking it steady this year. There's my single seed challenge for the potato from Steve Digwell Greenfingers, chitting away there nicely. I think there's 4 chits on there, maybe 5. And I shall be updating as I progress with that. And my other potatoes are chitting, all looking good. Those there are Condor, not the most pretty potato, but give me a chance at growing a large one again this year. That's my own stock that I kept from last year. And I spin you around slowly. I notice I spin you around a bit too quick sometimes. Radish and some lettuce and some spinach coming on. There's some leeks, some beetroot. There's my seed onions. Germination on these was terrible. And there I've got 18 there of Zabroom, and that's out of 2 packets of seeds. I ordered one in September last year and they arrived, and thinking about it, that's probably stock from the year before. The germination on them was terrible, so I got another packet recently and germination was no better on them. Some early peas there, germination is not good on them either. There's 2 per cell, and as you can see, they're not very good. I was going to put those in the greenhouse and polytunnel and try and get an early crop. But as you can see, germination's not very good, and it puts you off, because I do direct sow into the ground outside, so it does put you off a bit. Brassicas there, I'm doing a trial there on whether or not I use vermiculite or compost, and so far there's no difference at all. Some dahlia tubers that I've set out just in some slightly damp compost, and some herbs that I've sown there. And number 49, this is for Johnny at Johnny's Kitchen Garden. That there is the lemongrass. It's the first time I've grown it, and Johnny has just sown some himself and he was asking me how long it took to germinate. Well, in the propagator it took about 7 or 8 days, but it is very slow growing by the looks of it. But yeah, number 49, that is lemongrass. And a few other herbs and things growing there. That is my single seed challenge. It was it's a loafer, and it was very slow coming through. And if you just look at the seed leaves, if I can move my big fingers out of the way, it did struggle to come through the soil. The seed leaves were stuck around the actual seed itself, and I thought it was going to rot off, but it has poked its way through, and that's coming on quite nicely. Has some chilies in there, and at the back there's some aubergines, and then in the bigger propagator there's the chilies and peppers. They're looking nice and healthy, and the smaller ones, they're off a chili, well, they're off a sweet pepper that my mum and dad gave me from one of the supermarkets. They said how nice it was. It's like a red oxhorn. So just over 3 weeks ago, that was still on the shelf in one of the supermarkets, and they gave me the seeds, and I planted them up straight away, and every single one I planted came through. So it'll just be interesting to see how they come on. And then I come around to my tomato seeds that I'm growing this year. Quite a few varieties there. Some will only grow 1 of, some will be 2. I've got some heirlooms on this side, and then I've got the F1 varieties on this side. And I won't bore you with all the details, but if you wanted to pause, you can just see what I'm growing. The different varieties. Some of these I've not grown before at all, I do like the heirloom varieties, but the disease resistant and yield is disappointing. So I'm going to try this year grafting some onto some rootstock to see if that makes a difference. I watched Johnny from Johnny's Kitchen Garden do it last year. He did about 4 or 5 videos on it, and very interesting, and he has some great results. And that there is my 2 rootstock that I've got to try. One is Submarine, and the other one is Estimino, and whether I'll be successful or not, I don't know. I shall try one plant or a couple of plants with the rootstock and the same variety without, and it is a bit of a rigmarole to do it, but if I get any success with it, I'll be quite happy. So I'm just going to pop these up now and start to sow them, and I'll show you how I do that. Now I've come to the conclusion, as you know, I use Jack's Magic compost, but I've come to the conclusion that I need to sieve this Jack's Magic. You see that looks quite good compost. But for sowing seeds, I know a lot of you already do sieve your compost, and it does make sense. It's all for the right reasons, but I haven't had a problem in the past. But this year I've had germination's not been brilliant. Could be a combination of all sorts of things. But when I've been potting on, a lot of the roots have been growing through the debris that's left, and lumps like this, seedlings aren't going to be able to get through it. And that little mound there that I've sieved, that's what's come out of it. Now for potting on, from next stage from sowing seeds, I will leave that in. It does give air, and it also holds moisture. But for growing seeds, for sowing seeds, I don't think that's any good for anybody. So sieving on the first sowings of the seed, that's what I should be doing from now on. Now my tomatoes, I'm going to be sowing them into these little pots, and I should only put 1 seed in each pot. It might seem rather a waste. I know some of you put 4 or 5 into a little 3-inch pot or more than that, and then pick them out. But I'm putting them in the propagator, and when one pops through, I can take it out and take it out of the propagator, because when these show, I don't want them to stay in the propagator. They get a little bit leggy, and I want them to grow slowly rather than reaching up because they've got too much warmth. So the propagator will be just to get the seeds germinated, and once they pop through, I can take one pot out and then move it on. And it's just a case of, this is a big seed tray, and just pop them in like that, and I shall fill all these up. And then this one's been soaking in water from the bottom, and those are all ready now to sow the tomato plants in. So this is one of the heirloom varieties, and it is striped stuffer. It's a large beef tomato variety. I'm only going to be growing a couple of plants of each variety because I've got so many. So I'll be sowing 4 modules with 1 seed in each, and any spares that do come up, I shall be offering to my parents or giving them away to anybody else. and I shall be covering these with vermiculite. I'm finding that just a small bit of vermiculite over the actual hole, not over the whole lot, is working okay for me. I have used it in the past and not thought much of it, but you try different ways of doing things, and the things I've sown so far this season, it seems to have been worked okay with. So I shan't bore you with this. We've all seen people sow seeds before. This one is brown berry, and I'll carry on doing these, and I shall bring you back when I've finished. And there they all are, tucked up in bed in the propagator. There's 10 varieties there, and the rootstock, I shall be sowing those about 7 to 10 days later. I shall just have to do a bit of research on that to know exactly roughly the time to sow them, as they're a bit more vigorous and you want the stems to be the same size. The F1s I shall be sowing in another week or so. Many thanks for taking the time to watch, and please leave a comment and thumbs up, and let me know what varieties you're sowing or what you've already sown in the way of tomatoes. Take care everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.